Hey folks, welcome back to Gaming Garbage, where we take a look at games, chat about the gaming news in the industry, and of course stream for fun. Today we're going to be taking a look at gaming news December 25th through the 27th. This is about a couple weeks of time. We didn't have gaming news over the holidays because there really wasn't much out there. Just about everybody was shut down. There wasn't really anything for even just the regular article news outlets too, like Kotaku or VG 242. None of them are really running, and none of really the gaming channels either, which is good. We need that time with our families. So hopefully you guys had a good holiday, Christmas, Hanukkah, all that good stuff. So today, also too, don't forget if you want to speed this up a little bit, you can always on YouTube at Gaming Garbage 22 take time to select the play speed at 1.25 times, so you can get through that a little faster. It always helps me kind of condense my time a little bit when I'm hearing stuff on YouTube. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about something China is doing before everybody else, practically, which is amazing. I'll get into that in a minute. Also, a settlement that Google has to pay, an update for the finals, a change to ESRB, which I find interesting. Also, we got some data on the first big patch that Starfield's going to have. Also going to be talking about Bobby Kotick, which I will be talking about that first. Some changes with Microsoft. Also some changes with Square Enix. And then we got to talk about Unity again. And then at the very end, I'm going to be going over upcoming games in January for generally people that might be interested across all platforms. And then we'll talk about the channel a little bit, upcoming games that I'll have here. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Man, I know my end of the year, beginning of it, started with a bang. It's been busy, but it's glad to be back in the seat. And don't forget, too, that you guys, of course, can always vote for the next Off the Cuff that was launched yesterday. So go ahead and look for that, and please be sure to vote. Thank you for voting. So let's go ahead and dig into China. So China is actually going to be limiting microtransactions. So it's gotten so bad over there, the CCP is banning loot boxes, daily login rewards, limiting price of cosmetics, and even the use of items for auctions. And the thing that they're citing is that it's a bunch of minors getting into stuff and just being like, hey, we don't want our kids being invested in this. We'd rather have them be invested in the party. And so, yeah, they're actually limiting that. And honestly, we know that microtransactions for most of us, regardless of where we are in the world, microtransactions have just kind of taken over the gaming space. It's gotten really bad. It's gotten pretty insane, and that's honestly more or less what they focus on. And I think Modern Warfare 3 is a great example of that. But a lot of other games too, like Overwatch and Diablo 4, and just any way they can monetize stuff, including Destiny. It's just gotten to a sickening point. But finally, we got some countries that are taking some more steps to actually limit microtransactions directly, not just limiting loot boxes like in the remake of Star Wars Battlefront 2, but just full on actually limiting certain microtransactions altogether. And I would love to continue to see that. So the two biggest companies in China are TenCent and NetEase, and together they lost $80 billion in one day in their stock value, which is crazy. Now, Tencent and NetEase, they do make a lot of mobile games, but they also do make some games that are for console or for PC. But yeah, to lose $80 billion, I mean, most of the games that they make are free to play or free to start or whatever, like most of their mobile games, but the microtransactions are the focus, and that's what they focus on. And of course, they focus of the female gender to get people hooked or interested or whatever. I'm constantly blocking ads on YouTube because I'm tired of seeing them, of basically, underage looking girls looking a certain way in the ads to try to entice me and others just like you folks to get us to play their free-to-play games and buy microtransaction stuff. It's just disgusting. So it's actually really nice to see that. So let's see, Tencent lost about almost 13% of their stock value, and NetEase lost over 21%. And checking the stocks after that announcement, the stocks are still going down. So they're not quite losing as much, but they're still consistently losing pretty much every day. And yeah, I mean, that's their main business model. They're going to have a hard time making money. Next is Google. We did find out with the antitrust suit from Epic Games, saying that they had a monopoly and that it was unfair how much money they were making off of Epic Games and other developers too. So Google now has to pay $700 million for the antitrust lawsuit and also make the changes. We also know that there was an attempt with Epic Games suing Apple for the same reason. Again, Apple's got a monopoly on their store, and whatever the devs make or produce and get on their store, the devs have to pay 30% of the proceeds, not including taxes, not including paying employees or anything like that before they can actually make some money. And 30% is a ton. So they did lose against Apple. They tried them first, but they did win against Google, and now there's an appeal against Apple. And so we'll see what happens. I mean, they'll be able to say, look, with basically the same argument we won against Google, and with the appeals judge, they'll be able to basically see if they can overturn the original ruling on Apple. So, and if that happens, it's going to change the industry, folks. It's going to change how deals are done, how some companies are making their money, and yeah, it's going to make things a little more open, I think, to third party. And the issue with this isn't just that creating a monopoly. You can either have your monopoly, but you can't charge an arm and a leg, or you can charge an arm and a leg, but also allowed free market to work with third party being able to get in and possibly make some money too and undercut you. And that's why capitalism works most of the time. Yes, I know the arguments against capitalism, but honestly, even though China is doing something good, I wouldn't want to necessarily live in China either, where I don't even really have a voice. So yeah, we'll see what happens though with the appeal on Apple. But $700 million, that's a good chunk of money. That's not, going to kill Google, of course. But that is a lot of money on Google, especially with ad revenue going down for the last couple of years. That's going to be a pretty penny. Next is the finals. They're working with improving their anti-cheat stuff, as there's been a lot of cheaters they've been able to find, whether it's hardware related or software related or whatever. They're finding quite a few, but even if they find them, they're having a hard time exactly IDing them with their anti-cheat software, and so they're having a hard time blocking these guys. And so, honestly, I did play the game. I enjoyed it for what it was. I think it was a fun 3v3v3, and it was interesting. A little bit of a learning curve, but, the maps were generally the same. Very colorful, too, kind of exciting. I did show my initial review on the channel, but I don't see the game having legs where it's sustainable, where they're really providing something different compared to everybody else. And they're trying to break into a whole new market that's been going now almost for 10 years. And so, and it's a completely free-to-play game where the focus is microtransactions. And honestly, the microtransactions aren't really that good, and they're pretty dang expensive on top of it. So I think they're going to have a hard time making that money. Also, their battle pass, running the numbers, it takes 100 hours to complete. Ugh. That's a good chunk of time. And then, yeah, their microtransactions are expensive. Even just something like a pet, it's $10. I mean, holy smokes. That's insane. There's also a few things you still can earn in game, but and there's some things to unlock too as you level up, with your experience that you get. But a lot of it is geared toward, of course, microtransactions. And then they're charging you to definitely try to make money at it. But yeah, if they don't get that anti-cheat figured out, which did seem like there were a few people that it was done very, very quickly too. But yeah, if they don't fix that, it's going to completely kill their game, unfortunately. Next is the ESRB is changing their rating for A. So for those of you that know, A isn't around very much, and for good reason, but usually it's A for adult, which means 18 and over. Rated M is 17 and over. So it's just one more year, but technically A is just for legal adults only. And we saw this with Grand Theft Auto. Because of sexual content, the amount of drugs and violence and all of that stuff, including language. So yeah, they gave it an A rating. Though I think it would basically pass as an M by today's standards for the most part, except for maybe the sexual content. But yeah, A hasn't really been around because a lot of stores won't even carry it, or they won't even have it on their online store. They just don't allow rated A content. Well, now the ESRB says that pay-to-earn games that have like blockchain and NFTs will now have a rated A rating. And that's huge because we've had so many scams over the last 3 years, 21, 22, and 23. We've had issues with like Logan Paul with his zoo game, which he's finally starting to actually pay people back, which is nice. We also know there's Counter-Strike Go, which is a big focus on kind of gambling and random kind of loot crate-ish ideas where you can buy and resell things on the market there, which Valve makes a ton of money off of that. And then there's also Dr. Disrespect's game, which I think is still in beta. I don't think it's actually completely out yet, but with the ESRB changing these, man, this is going to make all of these games rated A. So that's really going to kind of hinder what can be on the Google Play Store, what can be sold at things like GameStop, and I think even Steam and the Epic Store. I mean, this is going to change stuff. So some of these, if this really continues to focus and land, it's going to completely change mobile games. I can tell you that. And it's drastically going to affect stuff. Now, other regions, like the UK or like Asia, they have their own systems or their kind of own rating agencies, but this is just ESRB here in the States. And this is wonderful. Like, I'm truly excited for this because I'm tired of this pay to earn is really just kind of a scheme and a scam, and there's really not any value in it. I mean, NFTs are absolutely worthless. I mean, they've lost over 99% of their value. A lot of cryptos and alternative coins, too, have lost a lot of their value. And the only things that are left are just a few of them. But yeah, so many scams happened. And Interpol is actually even agreeing with this, as they're saying that there's such a huge increase in fraud with these NFTs, and they even have a name for them now called NFT rug pulls. And this is especially really bad in South Korea, where just the NFTs are really bad. There's a huge focus and stuff, and it's just quite the mess. And so, yeah, ESRB changing this, and also China limiting their microtransactions of what's available in their country. This is really going to start changing the microtransaction landscape and crypto landscape and NFTs and stuff. And this is going to make some companies, I think, start thinking twice about how they're going to implement it and how things are going to be used in their game. Which, on another note, another piece of news, this is going to change some stuff. Square Enix has just announced that they're changing some developmental changes in some of their games by adding blockchain, focusing more on Web 3.0, including AI in the game's development, and then also having cloud-based solutions. So I'm not really sure what's going to be going on with Square Enix and how they're exactly going to implement all of this. There are some ways to do it where it's fair, okay, like Xbox Game Pass is all built off of blockchain. That's been like since 2015 or 17. And that's fine. I mean, you actually pay for a service, and the blockchain just allows you easy access to the library of games. And that works great. But the focus where you have non-fungible tokens or NFTs, or you have some type of, in-network currency, we really start to get to something that's pretty scammy and is pretty easy to lose money at. And so I really wonder how Square Enix is also going to implement their future. It does say just development, but we know that it's not going to stop there. They're going to try to find some futuristic way or creative way to continue to monetize and further break down aspects of and features in their games to just get us to spend more money. But is the ESRB rating going to change that? And is China's limitations going to change that too? I don't know. We'll have to see. Next is Starfield. So we're finally getting our first really big patch for Starfield. This is coming out next month in February, and the update is primarily survival mechanics. And so these survival mechanics include customizing your carry capacity, customizing your cargo access distance when you're away from your ship, vendor credits, like the amount of credits they can have or how long they're able to regenerate those credits after wiping them out, right? Before you had to wait 48 hours. Now you can make it shorter or produce more credits for them. Your ship's damage, how you suffer afflictions, and a myriad of other mechanics. And I do think that, some of these things that they had implemented in the game already should have been less of a simulation and more of a kind of arcadey style, kind of like some of the Fallouts or some of the other Elder Scrolls games. But in some aspects of Starfield, they went, I think, a little too far, like having to wait for vendors to, get their funds back. Because I had multiple times, and it's not like I was selling a ton, but I had multiple times where I totally wiped out, multiple vendors, and I'd have to wait or go somewhere else to try to sell more goods, especially contraband. And that was a frustrating thing, too, is that technically contraband was really valuable, but I couldn't really sell it for its value, not anywhere close. And so it didn't really make it that worth it. Anytime someone could take it, again, I'd have so much contraband, I could only sell them a little bit, and then I'd have to wait. So some of these changes are finally coming, but some of these changes I feel like should have been in the original game. They are going to also patch in some stuff, continue to try to make fixes, and once they start in February, they're going to focus about every 6 weeks to put out new content. This is either going to be setting changes, bug fixes, and actually creating new content for the game before Shattered Skies comes out. And they plan to do this until Shattered Skies comes out. And 2, they're hoping to make Starfield like a 10-year running game, just like Skyrim was, which I think was truly a surprise for them. But I don't know if Starfield, with how boring it is, if they can truly get people to come back. I still see every once in a while, probably 1 or 2 a week, still playing Starfield. I personally removed Starfield from my game, or from my disk drive, or whatever, because I want to be able to download other stuff and play that. Also, partly just to make more space for the channel to play other games, like Off the Cuff and whatever. And also as I review other stuff. But yeah, Starfield, unfortunately, it is kind of a boring game. And I'm not excited about going back until I actually see Shattered Skies, because that's some expansion of the campaign and stuff, and I'm hoping by the time I come back, some of these fixes, some of these implementations and additional features and changes they're going to put in will kind of liven up the game a little bit, but we'll have to see. So I'll keep you updated on that in the future. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about this first and I forgot. So, Bobby Kotick. The last few times I've been talking about how he is now going to be working at Bungie. Well, this was a fake This Week at Bungie announcement, unfortunately, along with all of the other stuff in the TWAB, which is pretty frustrating. I should have done my research a little more. I should have checked Bungie's website officially. But this was done by Aztec Cross, which is a big Bungie guy. But he does... he covers all of the TWABs. He covers updates. He does gameplay. He's been playing a very long time. And he's got a pretty good following, too. Well, he had this TWAB, and so it, of course, has like double the views of all of his other videos, because this was like a secret TWAB from Bungie talking about the updates of their game just before the holidays. And in that was Bobby Kotick, that leaving Activision Blizzard, was now going to be working at Bungie starting on January 1st, and I just could not flip and believe it. But unfortunately I did, and I implemented that on the channel and told you guys, and so I apologize for that. But I did see a comment where it said fake. I was like, I saw like a little comment on some other video of someone else talking about this, because it's been circulating. There's been some rumors and whatever, and so it got me curious. So I actually checked Bungie's website, and there is no TWAB of the 21st of December 2023. So that got me really curious. I went back to Aztec Cross's video, and it's laid out right there in the comments that it's a fake video. I saw it fairly soon after release, but again, that's no excuse. I always try to make sure I'm as accurate as I possibly can be, and I apologize for that. So Bobby Kotick, as far as we know, yes, is officially retired. He is not going to be working at Bungie, and so we can lay that to rest. Next is Microsoft. So I wanted to talk about the rewards program that they have with Game Pass and with Bing. And the reason it's so nice is you can actually get credit cards, or you can even get some in-store credit for the Microsoft Store, which is pretty handy. It didn't take too long to actually get a good amount of $10. And so yeah, I was getting, I don't know, probably about $40 a year by doing the little things with Game Pass, and especially with Bing's web browser, and I was earning the points and then I was redeeming them. Well, they have now changed both of those programs, so they both still exist, but they're harder to get points now. So let me go over Bing first. So with Bing, you could do some things that would get you, 10 points or 5 points or 30 points at a time. And there's still a few things where you get 30 and 10 points each per task that you complete, whatever it is. But the other thing is a lot of the rest of them are now 1 point or 2 points. And it is pretty grindy now. And you really got to be consistent to hit all of the day streaks of logging in and completing some of the tasks. It doesn't take long, but you got to do it every single flipping day to get those bonuses. And they've also changed how many you get, so you also don't get as many anymore. So it does take quite a long time now. I'm still probably getting probably about 600 a week or 500 points a week, give or take. And that's if I'm just fairly consistent throughout my week and getting the points and working up the streaks and stuff. But still, it takes forever. It takes forever. The other thing is Game Pass rewards. So with Game Pass, if you play certain games or if you fulfill some of the daily challenges or weekly challenges, you can also get points added to your account. And it's just a faster way to actually get through it, and it also gets you playing around on Game Pass, which is better data for, of course, Microsoft. That's the benefit for them. Well, now we get less weekly challenges, and there's more legwork, and it's more grindy than it used to be. You still get, as far as I could read and see through the pictures, you can still get the same point values, but now there's just less of them. And so no matter what, it's going to take a lot longer to get your Microsoft Xbox points so that you can actually redeem them and get credit for the store or whatever else you want to use them for. So I'm still doing the program, but yeah, it is taking forever. It's taken forever. If I had to guess, it's probably going to take maybe twice as long or 3 times as long as it normally would have at the rate I'm going right now. And yeah, it just sucks. But part of my reasoning on this is that Microsoft is trying to find ways to save money. They were basically paying out stuff for free to everybody doing the program, either on Bing or on Game Pass or both. And yeah, it just costs them money. And everybody's trying to save money right now, including companies. It's not just us, folks. They don't have infinite money. And so they're trying to cut costs where they can. But it just sucks that they have a good program like that they can utilize for getting data and reward us for it. But yeah, they have cut that way back. Let's see. Also, something too I wanted to mention. When taking a look at 2024 for games that are coming up this year, there are so many delays. And there are so many games that are to be announced or to be decided, or they've just had Q1 or Q2, and now it's like, oh, well, now that game is going to be just sometime in 2024, which indicates it'll probably be toward the back half or the back quarter of the year. Or games have gone to like the first half or the second half, and things are just very wishy-washy with a ton of games. There's really not a lot of games that are even decided out past February of when they're going to be coming out, whether for PC, Xbox, or PlayStation. Really doesn't matter. It's pretty insane. But so far, the games that are going to be coming up in January is Prince of Persia. That's the 18th. Last of Us Part 2 Remaster is the 19th. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is the 26th. Tekken 8 is the 26th. And that's pretty much it, unfortunately. There are some other games, there are some other indie games out there, but those are kind of the 4 big ones for January. But yeah, there's not a ton. There's more coming out in February and in March. And we'll talk about those at the turn of the month. So let's see, I think I got to everything so far. Oh yeah, no, we got to talk about Unity. That's the last thing before I get to upcoming games for the channel in 2024. So Unity, as we know, they really ticked off a lot of folks by like retroactive payments to the amount of downloads that game developers have had with their games. And the thing that sucks is a lot of people were ticked off. A lot of people did not like Unity. It's just been free publicity for other engines like Snowdrop or for Unreal Engine. And Unity has had some layoffs. They also got rid of their CEO, and Riccitiello, I think his name was, John Riccitiello. And he was just the face, but the board is still there making the decisions. But what sucks is we just found out today, it was an exclusive on Ritter's news site, is that now they're going to lay off 25% of their workforce. So I think they're feeling the pain, folks, even though they worked back most of what they were going to implement and make it a little harder to start that retrograde active of downloads, and they did. They were going to say every version of Unity, but now it's just the current version and future versions of Unity. But yeah, the damage is already done, and they're definitely seeing a decrease in revenues. And they're also a part of this recession as well. A lot of tech companies have been laying off, a lot of game studios. Some even game studios, of course, have been shut down, and we've covered some of those. But yeah, they're going to lay off 25% or 1,800 employees by the end of March. And that is crazy to me. Like, you don't lay off 25% unless you have to. You know, maybe you lay off 5, maybe you lay off 10. But 25%? That's crazy. So I don't think Unity's done having pain. Unfortunately, we're not done having layoffs in the community either. I mentioned that at the gaming recap of 2023 with Lion, is that I don't think we're done with layoffs, and unfortunately, I'm right so far. This is the biggest layoff that Unity has had. They've already had a couple, and this is by far the biggest one. So, yep, 1,800 more people are going to be let go. There was a memo circulating through the company email. And then, yeah, Ritter's also got the exclusive from Unity about the layoff. So, what a bummer. I would feel like, yay, I made it. And then just to find out, oh, I'm going to be probably let go anyway. And that's just, 25% of the ones that are left. Again, they've already let go quite a few, hundreds of employees, and now they're going to lay off about 2,000 more. So I feel for those folks, I really do. I wouldn't wish being laid off by anybody. It'd be awful. So upcoming games for the channel. You guys, don't forget, for the next several weeks through January, I'm going to be posting the launch game that I'm going to buy at launch and stream here and showcase here on the channel. There are 2 options. There were originally 3, but one of the options I found out is going to be on Game Pass. So, of course, if it's on Game Pass, I'm going to play that one and show it to you guys. But yeah, so far, on the community tab, you guys can vote for either Space Marine 2 or Star Wars Outlaws. And again, that will be a post that will be out every single week, just to try to get as many people as I can. And if you guys want to vote, thank you very much for doing that. So far, definitely one of them is winning, but I'd be happy to play either one. Honestly, would. But the other games that we're going to have on the channel this year, there's going to be quite a few, so this channel is going to be busy. We're going to have over 12 if they're going to be launching in 2024. Again, as I said earlier, some of these games, they don't have release dates, or there's been delays, or there really hasn't been any word on them at all. But let's go ahead and go through this list. So we're going to have Tomb Raider 1, 2, and 3 Remaster. That'll be in February. We're also going to have Flintlock. Again, that was one of the games you could vote for the launch title of 2024. But hey, it's coming to Game Pass now, so frick yeah. I'm going to be playing that, showing that to you guys. We're also going to have Stalker 2. That'll be on Game Pass. Of course, whatever the launch game is that you guys vote for by the end of January. We'll also have Avowed. We'll also have, Avowed, Arc 2, Pigeon Simulator, which is from the same creators, I think, of a Goose Simulator. And I definitely want to try that one. There's also Bounty Star, Still Wakes the Deep, which will be a horror game, Free Descendant, which is a free-to-play game. That'll be coming out later this year. And then, if they come out this year, we'll also have Clockwork Revolution. That one looks very, kind of Bioshocky. We'll also have Fable, Vapor World, and South of Midnight. So again, let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 games, including the launch, that we'll have this year. So get ready, folks. Go ahead and subscribe and follow me and all that good stuff. Any of them that are co-op or multiplayer, I'll be having either Lion or Shepherd or some of the COD friends hop on just to kind of showcase and make it a little more fun for us all. But we'll be having quite a bit. So thank you for tuning in to Gaming Garbage News. You can always follow me at Gaming Garbage 22 over at YouTube. Don't forget the community tab where I update you guys weekly on stuff and also have votes. Also, too, for Off the Cuff. I also let you guys vote on that once a week, and I pick a game from GamePass and play it, and we take a look at the games over a 14-month period to really see if Ultimate's worth it, because 17 a month is pretty expendy. Also, too, you can follow me over at Twitch at Don't Tread on Thee. And, two, please critique the channel. It's not always fun. Some things I hear repeatedly, and I understand. And some things I can't necessarily change, but I really do want to hear from you guys about the channel. Anything I can improve, anything that I'm doing well, anything that could be a suggestion. I want to improve the channel and grow it for you guys. And with that, folks, hopefully you guys are doing well. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be having our regular scheduled programming for gaming news once a week, and I'll see you right here on the channel. See you guys next time.